So for the next few weeks, we're going to be going right into the real world here, and we're going to be talking about tax. It's a fact of life. One of the things that you hear people say is there's only two certainties in this world, death and taxes. In Australia, there's two major forms of tax that we pay. There's the GST, that's the Goods and Services Tax. Now, without going too in depth into it, when you buy most things, there's a 10% tax that the government takes. So if you go to the Night Owl and you go and buy a can of Coke and it costs you $2, 10% of that, or 20 cents, will go towards the government. Hopefully they'll do something good with that money. Now we'll also look at income tax. We'll look at that a fair bit as well. Income tax, that's just a portion of your income being money that you make, maybe at your job or in your business. A portion of that money is taken by the government for the public good. Those things could be things like building roads, building hospitals, schools. It could also be paying wages for anyone who works for the government. For instance, the Prime Minister's wage would be paid by tax money. So would a teacher in a school, or a nurse in a hospital. Depending on whether it's a public or a private hospital, things get a little grey in that area. We won't go too far into that. In any case, most governments around the world collect some form of tax, whether it's income tax or GST or taxes on other things. Okay, let's look at income tax. That's going to be our focus for the next little bit. Now, when I earn money as a teacher, let's say, now a teacher might earn somewhere between $60,000 and $90,000, maybe a little more than that. Let's assume that an average teacher is making, let's say, $75,000. Now that $75,000, that's for a year's work. That's called their gross income. Now that's what their employer is paying them, $75,000. But if you've hung out with teachers at all, you'll know that sometimes teachers need things for their work. So for instance, some teachers, like a manual arts teacher, definitely, let's look at our manual arts teacher. He needs specific things for his job. A manual arts teacher definitely needs some steel cap boots. Now, he can't perform his job without those steel cap boots. Now, the money that he spends on those steel cap boots is what we call an allowable deduction. So let's assume that the steel cap boots cost $500. We can take that away from his gross income, and we can say that, okay, the steel cap boots, you had to buy them, they were $500. They're pretty expensive. Now your gross income is only $74,500. That's your taxable income, your gross income. So we've got this handy formula here. Taxable income equals gross income minus allowances, or allowable deductions. Looking at this question here, a large company employs Ken as a plumber. Ken claims deductions of $1,400 to buy tools. Obviously, he needs tools if he's a plumber. Plus $25 for gumboots, plus $200 for 2 pairs of work overalls. That's $200 for both of them together. $5 per week for dry cleaning. Now, let's assume he's working 52 weeks a year, 5 times 52. And $1.50 per week for work-related telephone calls. So $1.50 times 52. We can add all this up now. So 1,400 plus 25 plus 200, that's going to be 1,625. Now 5 times 52, that's going to be, I believe, $260. And $1.50 times 52, that's going to be $78. I hope that's right. Make sure you type it into your calculator, because I did that all in my head, so there's no guarantees it's going to be right. Now that we've done all of that, our total, we add it all up, we get $1,963. Now remember, that's his allowable deductions. So if we took this question a bit further, let's assume that our plumber, his gross income is equal to, I don't know, let's say $90,000. That would mean that his taxable income, and here we get to use our formula, would be equal to his gross income, $90,000, minus his allowable deductions, $1,963. And that brings us to $88,037. That's how much he's allowed to be taxed on. Now that's not tax he pays, that's just how they'll assess their tax. We'll look at how much tax he pays in another video.